What is up, you guys? We are out here on my new Honda Goldwing Clibbins hoss. Literally just picked this up a few hours ago, drove it to get dinner, finally heading back home, and man, is this the most comfortable motorcycle I have ever ridden. I will say I watched Shade Tree's video on it about and I heard him talking about the brakes, and man, is he right. The front brake lever does not do much. Doesn't do much until you hit that rear brake lever. Can be kind of sketchy stopping. But this thing's 85, I believe, and it does ride good or run good for the year that it is, and it's got 85,000 miles. Oh boy. Wonder if we can make it back to town with how much gas we have left. I don't know how accurate that thing is. Pole's good. And you know, I'm pleasantly surprised with the power for the year and the size. Of course, I mean, I guess a Goldwing's always been their biggest, like their flagship model pretty much, so I guess you should expect that it would make the most power, but and it really handles pretty good too. It's got good tires on it though. It's got Michelin's and they're fairly new. So the only thing is the radio doesn't work, but it's not that big of a deal. Don't need no radio. And I do want to say I do have a Livewire demo ride booked. I believe it is next weekend. This thing honestly is surprisingly easy. Like once you get going, it's pretty easy to handle. Like I barely even think I use the handlebars honestly to turn it. Like you can just lean over with your body weight and it tilts it over for you. I guess it's not fifth, it's overdrive. It's interesting. This thing rides so smooth. It is extremely quiet in comparison to my motorcycle. And you know, the voltage is kind of weird on this bike. It's hovering at about 11.8. I think it should be higher than that. Especially with the fact that we're going at a pretty good pace now. So I don't know what that's about. I'm hoping it gets better, but you know what's nice about this bike? If I can get it set. Cruise control. Although it's kind of accelerating. Let's see if I can get it set. Right there, maybe. Now we're set, but we're losing speed. But you know, it's still better than nothing. There we go, let's try that. I mean, and yeah, it is just a throttle lock, so I could get something like that for mine, but for my MT-09. But this thing is so comfortable, it is ridiculous. And it's in pretty decent condition. Like I said, the radio is the only thing that really doesn't work. It's got the built-in air compressor, like controlled air ride, and it still works, so that's really cool. I just want to figure out what's up with the voltage, but hopefully it don't leave me stranded. Yeah, and the bad thing about just a throttle lock is you do gain and lose speed depending on what you're doing, so let's try these. Oh, dang. Oh, that's not the highway peg. That was the... You know, those aren't very comfortable. I ain't gonna use those. Probably end up taking those off if I can, because that is not comfortable. I don't know what this thing revs out to. I kind of think that was a cop behind me. I don't know though. I was most definitely speeding. But you know, I really did not give a bad amount of money for this thing. I traded a firearm, and I gave him $700. It was a Springfield Saint that I traded, and then I gave him $700, and I don't really use the Saint anymore. Like, I take it to the range once. I've just got so much other stuff that I prefer to do that I don't, and I still have other stuff, like other firearms, so I didn't really need it, and I've been trying to sell it. Decided to just let it go and get me a Goldwing, something that my fiance can ride with me and still be comfortable. And I've yet to test that out, but so far from like just riding by myself, it is very comfortable riding by myself. And it is just purring like a kitten. I don't know why it clunks into overdrive. That's weird. That's something I might have to figure out, but I don't know what this switch is broken. I don't know what that goes to. This switch lights up, but I don't know what it does. Maybe some of those are why my voltage is low. This thing is pretty warm, I will say that too. It's like, but I guess it's because my legs are right behind the engine. So and I don't know what that knob down there is for. I don't know if anybody knows what that's for. I'm pretty sure that's a, I don't know if that's just a tape player or if it's an 8-track. It says cassette deck, so it must just be a tape player. Might as well call me Shade Tree at this point, riding on an Aspencade. But, you know, I see why he likes it. I mean, it's a fun ride. Comfortable. Oh, look at that. I have a cup holder. I don't know if I'll keep that. I don't really like clutter. But this is motorcycle number 3. The Rebel is sold though. Just waiting on he gave me a deposit. He's at boot camp. His dad came and looked at it. So just waiting on him to get back from boot camp, and the Rebel's gone. But I'm gonna have to figure out how to squeeze a Goldwing, a Rebel, and an MT-09 in one side of my like car and a half garage. This thing is surprisingly smooth riding though. Like, this is impressive. And I can just set that throttle lock and let her eat up the miles. This is phenomenal. I've only had one other motorcycle that was about this old. I want to say the other one was it was probably an 80s. I can't remember what year exactly, but it was an XJ 650 Yamaha. It ran alright. It was definitely fast. It was my first bike and it was fast. I didn't think that bike was going to be that fast. It is faster than my second bike, which was a Honda Shadow 750. Which, I mean, obviously now I understand that, you know, it's because that one was a 650 and that one was a 750. It doesn't mean that the 750 is faster, because the 750 is like a lazy V-twin and the 650 was a 4-cylinder. Even though it's older, it's still faster. But the wind on this is better than the wind was. Like, my head gets jerked around less than it did on my 2013 cross country that I had. So it is enjoyable so far. And this bike has a whopping 85,380 miles on it, which I'm pretty sure, I mean, that's a lot, but like, I've seen some of these with more and I've seen some with less, but this one's in pretty good shape for the mileage, I think. It's not perfect, it's not immaculate. I don't know if those are factory switches or added on. And I wonder if I can like replace some of this stuff. I don't know. Might be worth messing with, might not. I really just wish I knew why that... It looks like they've added on a voltage display over here. And it's saying 11.77. This is my exit. But, and it like, I don't know if 11 point, like I'd assume it should run 12 to 13. So I'm pretty sure 11.8 isn't good. Might need to throw a battery tender on it or something, I don't know. Yeah, it clunks up into overdrive. I mean, it goes into gear, but I don't know what that's all. Maybe that's another thing that a Goldwing owner can tell me about. So maybe it's just something that comes along with 85,000 miles. Once it's in gear, it's perfect, but I can just not believe how well it handles. Definitely have to mess with that clock set because it definitely is not 9:58. I think I need to get some gas for this. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to E. Slow her down. Oh, it could probably use a few upgrades. High beam works. Flashers work. Like I said, air ride works. Basically, as long as it's not radio related, it works. And maybe electrical, because we're still reading 11.8 volts. Still wish I knew what that was about. Maybe it's what it's wired into, though. I don't know. Because who knows what they wired that voltage readout into. This is some of the smoothest suspension I have ever experienced on a motorcycle, though. This is just great. And I keep speeding. I look down and I'm going way faster than I realize. It clunks out of overdrive too. I really don't know why it does that. Am I not supposed to clutch in and out of overdrive? I don't know. Maybe I have to rev match it? Yeah, the rear brake pedal just works so much better on this bike. The front just really doesn't do much. There's neutral. Wow. 3.653 gallons. Not bad. There we go. Yeah, I think the charging system's messed up. It is struggling to restart. I'm gonna have to mess with that, apparently. Don't need to be push starting the gold wing. Big tank. Probably still had another gallon or so in there. Is that a shift light? I think it was. See if we can keep this thing from... Ooh. I don't think I like that. Yeah, so definitely don't try clutchless going into overdrive. Oh, seems smoother now. Yeah, I don't know what it was. What the... See, now we've got 12.5 volts. What the heck's... Something's messed up. Apparently my clutchless shift into overdrive fixed everything. Now it doesn't rattle into overdrive and it's got the right voltage. The heck is going on? Or maybe just the stator was just like, I don't want to work, because I think he said it sat for a while. It was his dad's bike, and then he got it somehow. I don't know if he bought it from his dad, but he said he just didn't really like it. It's not his style. He used to have a Hayabusa, and yeah, now we're reading 12.7. I don't have any idea what's going on. But anyways, yeah, he said it just wasn't his style, so it has just been sitting. So now I have it, and anytime I go on a really long ride or riding with friends, I'm probably gonna be on this. So honestly, you cannot beat the price that this thing is for the given the, like, if you find one with most of the stuff working like this, that thing is really working now. I don't know what the crap just happened. Literally, we just went from it's sitting at 11.8 and now it's reading 12.8. So that is fine with me. So it is, seems to be good to go now. It was having trouble starting. Maybe now that it's actually working, it will not have trouble starting. But yeah, if you find something that's in pretty good condition, this is hard to beat. Like, I don't think you can find another full-size touring bike that's this smooth, this comfortable, just all, like, this is nice for the amount of money that I have paid for it. It is a bit warm, I will say that. My legs are sweaty. I don't know how warm of weather I would want to be in on this thing. I don't think the backrest is doing me any favors. Like my back, and there's like no wind here. I can probably even open this, honestly. This thing even feels happier with the gas that I just put in. And I hope they can run on just regular, because that's what I put in. I don't figure they need premium. We're at 13 volts now, boys. I know I saw that these things have the stators go bad or melt wires, but my assumption is that if this bike has gone 85,000 miles, that somebody's probably already fixed the problems. So hopefully, I mean, the voltage just keeps going up and up. So who knows what's happening here. It seems steady around 13. I'm happy with that. And you know, I really don't know what Aspen Kate is, but it sounds cool. And I wish that motorcycle companies still did this, because this still has the warning label on the tank. But honestly, it's not that irritating that it's there, because it matches. They put it in gold. I don't understand why they don't do this on new bikes. Make the warning label look good. So that's kind of cool. It is rattly. That mirror seems to rattle quite a bit. And the boot on it's a little torn. That one's in a lot better shape. But this bike is almost 40 years old. And we are still going strong. So I mean, how much can you really complain? Honestly, I'm happy. Now I just gotta figure out how to fit it in the garage. That's the next struggle. You know? Is that a keyhole on my clock? Why is there a keyhole on the clock? And I fully realize that this bike probably looks ridiculous, but I fully accept the fact of that. I look like a boomer on this 1985 Honda Goldwing, but I don't even care because of how it rides. I do wish that motor wasn't that hot. If I stick my legs out as far as I can, it's pretty good, you know. But oh, that won't stay up. That one's a lot stiffer. That's a deer. Maybe I should watch better. Yeah, I kind of want to get rid of those highway things because they're not very comfortable. Oh, that's a Popo, and I have no plates on the bike. What can you do? I just bought it, so. Oh, wait. EMA. I think I'm good. Hopefully I haven't shut off my microphone because I messed around with the pocket a few times. And the recorder is definitely in there. Oh, that's that cup that keeps rattling. It's not the mirror. We need to get rid of this rattly cup. Or cup holder. I don't know, maybe it'd come in handy at some point. I don't know. Oh, light's changing. Yeah, that brake really doesn't do much. The pedal does a whole lot, but it's like it just fixed itself. Overdrive doesn't clunk anymore. Voltage fixed. I mean, maybe that's what happens when something just sits for a year and a half and doesn't get ridden, and then it gets ridden. It just doesn't want to work right there for a little bit, and then it just cures itself. Heck, it's hard to beat. I wish everything just fixed itself. These handlebars stay straighter. Like, this bike will literally just drive flat, like stable down the road, easier than any bike I've ridden. I do wish it had a little bit more airflow, which I don't know if those are vents down there or what. I don't know. Something I might have to look into. I always end up speeding on this. And you know, everyone I've told about this is hating, at least for the most part. But to those haters, I say, this is a great motorcycle. Like, one of the best motorcycles I've ever been on. I would much rather, I mean, I wish it had the V-twin sound of a Harley. Like, that's the only thing, is the sound, which maybe I'll try and figure out something with the exhaust, but because it is pretty quiet. So, but aside from the sound, it's the only thing that this bike's missing over the Harley. It's much smoother, and the power is pretty good. Like, I have, like, I mean, it does highway fine, you know, and that's really what you needed to do on a bike like this. The brake pedal sits a little high up. I don't know if I like that, because it's either you're having to lift your leg to hit the brake, or you're having to smash on the brake lever. Beautiful night for riding. I'm as content as can be. This thing it's just so nice to ride on. I don't know that you can do better for the money. For what I paid for this, like, I don't think I could have bought a better motorcycle. Honestly, like, something that could do as much, like, it's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest. It is probably the best for a long distance ride. that I could have bought for the year. I bet this is probably the quickest touring bike of the year that it was made. It sounds decent. It's comfortable. Literally the only complaint is that front brake, but it's not bad once you get used to it. You just really have to yank on it. And maybe it could use some different brake fluid too, I don't know. Anyways, bros, I have introduced you to the third addition to the Steed. The addition to the Steed of the garage. I think it's a great addition, boys. Especially now that the kinks have decided to work themselves out. I don't know what that's about. I wish it would happen more often. But I've got a full tank. I think I'm going to keep riding. Throw her on the back. See how it goes. I will let you boys go for now. And see you in the next one. And I will report back on 2-up riding on the Goldwing. Have a great day, boys.